afternoon. It's Thursday, April 11th, 2024. Peace is a path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. On the news this afternoon, Governor Fubara pledges to partner federal government on housing. Federal lawmaker Ugochinyere insists PDP is compromised. Families heartbroken as 3 teenage sons drown in River State. Federal government considers half pay for SANU-NASU members. On the foreign scene, Vietnamese billionaire sentenced to death for fraud. I'm Ifichukumoyeli with the news. Governor Siminalayi Fubara pledged to work with the federal government to address the problem of housing for low-income earners in the state. The governor spoke when he received the management team of the Federal Housing Authority of Nigeria at the Government House, Port Harcourt.
I'll call the teams that are concerned, the Permanent Secretary of Lands, Commissioner for Housing. They are going to meet with you, assess areas that are still undeveloped, and you make your choice and will comment. You said something here very interesting. It's not just building houses because of the sake of building, but building in such a way that we consider the income of the would-be occupier. It means you have the people at heart. You're not just embarking on the project as elephant project. You're interested in the end product. It shows seriousness.
Earlier, the Managing Director of the Federal Housing Authority of Nigeria, Oyetunde Ojo, said the decision to solicit partnership with the state government in the provision of land is because of the strategic position of River State in the country. As you may know, the International Human Rights Commission says about 28 million Nigerians face a critical shortage of affordable housing. Some Port Harcourt residents had narrated to our correspondent the struggles they face in trying to find affordable housing options. In the meantime, River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has assured that his administration will revamp the education, health and agricultural sectors in the state. He expressed concern over the dilapidated structures and shortage of teachers in primary schools in the state. Governor Fubara said this when he received the Muslim community on an Eid al-Fitr visit at the Government House on Wednesday.
One of the key areas of our administration is education, healthcare, agriculture. It will surprise you to note that an agency came and they were willing to spend $5 million to train our teachers. I told them to go around and assess primary schools. After the assessment, you won't believe that 75% of our primary schools have no teachers. 90% of the schools are dilapidated. So when I say education, it's not education where we renovate schools and we call people for commissioning. We're talking about touching what is important.
Governor Fubara also assured that the 5 zonal hospitals will be revisited to make healthcare services available to the people. He said his government is already doing much to revamp the agriculture facilities, guarantee food sufficiency, and create employment for the youth, among others. The governor also thanked the Muslim community for their efforts in addressing the farmer-herder clashes in the state.
Let me also thank this council for the great job they are doing for us in this state. I had a meeting with you some months back on the issue of herdsmen farmers, and immediately you started working on it. I can boldly say that though we still have some of this issue, but not like some other states that you keep hearing herdsmen, farmers dispute. You were able to bring this situation to a level where we could sleep with our 2 eyes closed in the states.
In the meantime, a consultant in the agricultural sector in River State, Charles Okoro, has disagreed with the state governor that the destruction of farmlands by herders in the state has been reduced. He spoke to our correspondent.
But that does not translate the reality. If I can give you a case of the everything they produce at that herders have been overgrazing the area, implying that the herders are still disturbing farmers in the state. So governor saying that more or less is like that. Something is going on. Look at everywhere. The cows are moving from one community to the other, destroying farmers' crops.
Mr. Okoro also said the government must enforce the anti-grazing law to reduce the menace. A federal lawmaker, Ikenga Ugochinyere, says the national leadership of the PDP cannot call to order the FCT minister Nyesom Wike because it has been compromised. Mr. Ugochinyere said this on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire today.
The national chairman of the PDP is working for APC, he's acting on behalf of APC, and because of that, he has refused to look at Wike's face and tell him what you are doing have not been done in any political party known to man in Africa. That it is wrong. Now, what is happening? Is there any problem? Why must you not be saying that your party will never win? So the national leadership that you are talking about is supposed to wear that music, like that capacity, like the poor. The chairman of the party is incompetent. The chairman of the party is scared. The chairman of the party is getting 1 or 2 favors from him, so he cannot look him in the face and do the right. And that is why we say, going forward, the national chairman needs to be kicked out.
Still to come, federal government to charge for toll gates on Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. Stay with us.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
You're welcome back, and now the rest of the news. 3 teenagers drowned in a river at Rumoparali community in Obiakpo local government area of the state. A father to 2 of the teenagers tells our correspondent their bodies have been recovered and buried. He said the incident happened on Monday.
Along the line, the children conveyed with other children, followed by Kiyaro instead of them to follow front, went to play ball. From ball, they went to Sandfield. As they went to Sandfield, according to the fisherman, when I saw that, he said he has been pursuing them to go and leave the river. They refused. He told them that the river is so rough. Even when me arrived there, I see that the river is no go area. After the swim finished, coming out, my cousin brother now said, okay, he want to swim, that he never finished his own swimming, that he want to swim again, entering the river. He was shouting, help, help. My son drive inside to help him. The other boy help him. That is all of them take by the river.
The mother of the other teenager also spoke to our correspondent.
My son don't used to move about. It's because of this holiday. My body was doing me somehow. I started calling my son. One other stranger is picking my son phone. He said my son is playing ball. I relaxed. So getting 2 hours, this particular boy brought my son's phone for me. I said, where is my son? He said, mommy, that time that you are calling, your son is in the river. That was how I saw my son that day before yesterday. So when we ran to the river, I saw my son clothes in the floor. So only 2 sons that I have. They have collected one from me.
Our correspondent reports that the teenagers were buried by the riverbank on Tuesday. Moving on, the family of the late former chairman of the Nigerian Exchange Group, Abimbola Ogunbajo, who was killed in a Southern California helicopter crash in February, are suing the U.S. helicopter company. The former chief executive officer of Axis Holding, Dr. Herbert Wigwe, his wife and son were also on board the ill-fated helicopter. The Ogunbajo family stated that the flight should have been grounded because of treacherous weather. In February, Wigwe, his wife and son died in a helicopter crash in California near the Nevada border. Away from that, the Minister for Education, Tahir Maman, says non-academic staff members of the universities will get half of their withheld salaries if President Bola Tinubu approves the payment of their salary arrears. Speaking on Channels Television on Wednesday, Mr. Maman argued that members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union were not on strike for the same period in 2021 as their academic counterparts. In business, the federal government will charge 3,000 naira per toll gate when the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road is completed. Minister of Works David Umahi made this known on Channels Television. He said there will be security at the toll gate and also some facilities like filling stations, restaurants, parking lots, and so on. In entertainment, the Actors Guild of Nigeria AGN has declared today as No Shoot Day for all Nollywood filmmakers. It follows the death of actor Junior Pope Odonwodo and 3 other crew members who died in a boat mishap on Anam River in Anambra State on Wednesday. The AGN has also banned the shooting of movies in riverine areas and also suspended filmmaker Adama Luke following the death of the actor. In sports, Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain refused to give interviews to a television broadcaster after a controversial remark was made about Lamine Yamal before their Champions League fixture.
And now we bring you news from around the world.
A 67-year-old Vietnamese property developer has been sentenced to death for looting one of the country's largest banks for over 11 years. Vietnamese law prohibits any individuals from holding more than 5% of the shares in any bank, but prosecutors say that through hundreds of shell companies and people acting as her proxies, Truong My Lan owned more than 90% of Saigon Commercial. Now, they accuse her of using that power to appoint her own people as managers and then ordering them to approve hundreds of loans to the network of shell companies she controlled. Her loans made up 93% of all the bank's lending.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Governor Fubara has pledged to partner with the federal government on housing. A federal lawmaker, Ugochiere, is insisting that the PDP is compromised. Families are heartbroken as 3 teenage sons drown in real estate. Federal government says it is considering half pay for SANU and NASU members. In all the foreign scene, Vietnamese billionaire has been sentenced to death for fraud. The news was edited by Martha Okirinkem. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifichuku Moyali. Many thanks for listening.